Welcome to the Daily HiFi Podcast. We do this every Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. My name is Chana. With me, as always, we've got Mr. Joe and Tell from the crew and Mr. Aaron.
Hey, I've got to take a phone call real fast. I'll be right back.
Okay, bye. Daily HiFi Crew water bottle.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Look out.
On everything.
How come my hoodie hasn't gotten here yet? I don't know what's up with that.
Heck?
I ordered a long time. As soon as you made
guys up to over there.
Man, I don't know. I was delivering
Probably
orders.
Probably lost. It's like, did you see that email from the toolkit? Sometimes like stuff gets lost in the mail. We can't control all that.
This one guy, it's like not this new guy. This new guy actually just sent him an email about it. But this one guy was like, "Hey man, I haven't gotten this. It was supposed to come on Monday. He was tracking it, USPS." And I was like, I don't know, man. Try sitting tight and see what happens, And it was like already Wednesday. And then like it showed up Friday. So maybe it did get lost. Sometimes maybe it just sticks on the little like flap.
Yeah,
it could like all kinds of stuff could happen. Yeah.
When you're moving product, eventually some mistakes will happen that are out of your control. I think one of the ones they said that like their neighbor like brought it to them because for some reason somebody else had it. Like, yeah, it happens.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I just went to the wrong place.
Yeah. Trust me, you know what? I've seen that before, but that's usually because the people here in our area are not the greatest. It goes to Unit 18 on the same street at a different complex.
Yeah. So we did pretty good with our toolkit, spatial audio calibration toolkit. Shout out, because of the shout out from Caleb over there at Digital Trends. He made that video on the Nakamichi Dragon.
Yep.
Woo.
That's right.
Yeah. Very, very good stuff. So it was a great video. And that's an interesting product, right?
Yeah, actually they just gave me an update. For those of you that are interested in Nakamichi Dragon, I got an email from Nakamichi today, in fact, earlier today. The regular, so what Caleb got was one of the first introductory ones, which are the special edition 500, limited at 500, that production run.
Yeah, number one.
That's not number one.
It said number one on it.
It said one of 500, not number one of 500.
Oh,
because the plaque, it's just like in the Lamborghini, the new Lamborghini Countach, it says 1 of 112. So they're not going to reprint custom numbers for every
limited. That's what they're supposed to do. Like, hey, I got number 5. I got number
saving
5.
money.
I got number 5.
I didn't have the heart to tell Caleb. I'll tell him maybe in text. I'm like, yeah, it's just like the car plaques that say 1 of 112. It's just one of them. It's not number one. There are some that say number like 77 or 124 or whatever the thing is in the cars. But that, they just went to more, they had to pay more for that, obviously, because they had to make X number of brand new plaques.
If Apple can engrave your iPhone for free, you know what I mean? They can take a minute.
I know, this just takes a couple of weeks. So he's trying to get a Lamborghini Countach. I know I didn't, but man, that white on white one looks pretty sick, bro. I don't know. And it's a naturally aspirated V12. So
well, you're showing me. So this is way off topic. That's how we start all of these. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to our patrons or our new thing. The members of our YouTube channel, you see like some of the people here, they have a hi-fi, orange hi-fi logo next to their name, kind of like the one that you see here. And that's because they are a paying member.
Drop that in the link instead of just having people. We need to drop
you can do that. Yeah, all right. Probably a good idea.
So let me first say this about Nakamichi. Pre-orders are starting August 3rd for Nakamichi, the regular run. The regular production run. They didn't tell. Let me see if they told me exactly how many they were going to be producing in this run, because it is kind of weird. You do 500 and then you do like, I don't know. Here it is. Pre-order starts August 3rd, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Oh, price adjustment notice. New MSRP $38.99. They're putting out 1,000 units. Okay, it's all in the email. All I had to do was read. Who knew?
Okay, all right. So you're gonna get one?
No.
Why
Actually, they sent a separate email to me and to both me and Elon Osborne. So they're either going to send a review unit for us to share. So they're going to cut it in half.
Yeah. There you go.
No, kidding. They're not cutting it in half. They're going to send it to one of us first. Hopefully they send it to Elon first, because I don't really have a space to put it except for here. And it's pretty large for this room. You know,
Yeah.
I could try it in my living room, but the like upfiring, I know it doesn't work in the living room. So it's kind of one of those things. But yeah, it looks like $3,900 now for this run of 1,000.
You know, that's a high price. That's a high price for a soundbar. But I think what they're trying to go for is like, this is an in between. Like, if you don't want to go with an AVR and separate speakers, it could work in that scenario. You know, I don't know.
I mean,
you have.
I heard it at that very nice luxury suite at the Bellagio, right? May or may not have been getting massage at the same time, but it sounded good.
A massage at the same time, of course.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, it sounded very convincing. But again, they were on such a tight schedule that they wouldn't play anything off script. Because I know Jolster, the other YouTube guy, Jolster G4K, he was in line behind us. So we ran into him right outside when we were leaving.
Is that the guy who punches the screen?
I don't know if he punches the screen.
Jolster.
I'm not sure. Jolster, yeah. Yeah, he and I used to talk a long time ago when we were both doing a lot of budget and mid-level TV reviews.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know what? So what do you think? Do you think that's, let's say, if somebody wants to get a clip system they get at Costco, let's say, on sale, and they get an inexpensive AVR.
There's a lot of good technology in the Dragon. They use the Atmos decoder that's for AVRs and not for soundbars, because that's different. So that's cool. There's a lot of flexibility in the setup area. You can put the distances of how far you are away from the soundbar, how far your seating position is far as from the rears and stuff like that. So you could probably get a pretty good experience, and then you don't have to put any wires anywhere other than the power. You got to power the surrounds, you got to power the subs, but there's no wires in the whole thing. So depending on how, I think it's for the right person. It's just like anything else. It's for the right person, it's for the right scenario. If you have like a big long, because the thing's long as hell, and it's pretty heavy. You have a big long entertainment stand with like an ultra short throw projector right behind it, going to 100-inch screen kind of thing on the wall. Yeah, that could work in like a gaming situation. $4,000. You're going to spend $4,000 on a 714 system anyway, right? Yeah. So
who I think is going to buy this?
Who's going to buy it?
I think this is really for that person. What's up? I think it's for that person who really, where $4,000 is not a big deal. There are these people out there where they can just, $4,000 is nothing. So it might be for their extra room. They're like, they have a legitimate system, and they're like, you know what? I want to have a pretty good experience in this other room that I have
for my gaming consoles or whatever, for my kids doing whatever.
For my kids, and to them, $4,000 might not be a lot of money. To me, it's a lot of money, but maybe to some other person, it might not be. And I think that they would be like, you know what? What's the best one I can get? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get that. That's cool.
There's Aaron could probably use it.
Yeah.
That's expensive though, dude. That's like
the thing on the Clipple. I'm sure they'll send you a review. All they need is what Raymond. I just call him Raymond. The CEO said when I walked in the room, he's like, "Oh, there he is, the world famous techno dad, dude. All I gotta do is send an email and be like, yeah, send this thing to Aaron. Don't send it to me. Send it to Aaron.
That'd be cool.
And maybe send it to you."
Soundbars are tough to review. You can't. You're not gonna be able to just throw that on the clipple. Remember, it's kind of like, okay, I want the sound to just play out of the left.
Right. That was the big problem I had. Was I was trying to like dedicate certain signals to go to certain channels, and I remember talking to you guys about that, and I just punted. I was like, "This is
you can do it with our disc. Can the clipple machine like take the audio from the disc or no? Because our disc will be in Atmos.
I think that I could. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. No. It has its own signal that it generates. I mean, it can work off Bluetooth and stuff like that, but yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how I would. I don't.
Is it a certain type of sweep, like a special type of sweep? Because we have.
Well, it's not so much that. It's just the outputs are. There's like, really, there's one output for testing one speaker. Or there's two outputs, but I'm only testing one speaker. So I mean the two outputs would be like if it were like an active two-way or something like that, then maybe you'd want to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, it has channel 1 and channel 2, and because of that, it's complicated. We did to talk about it afterward, but I don't really think there's a way to do that right now.
This is kind of advanced and a little bit nerdy, but I've gotten a few questions from people asking about dual channel, what is it? Dual channel RTA type of tools.
Dual channel FFT or something like that.
What's that?
Dual channel FFTs?
FFTs, yeah.
Yeah.
Where you can analyze phase in real time. I like that stuff. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, that stuff's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, well, what would be an easy way to explain it? I don't know if I know it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like how that works. I don't know how the math behind an FFT, but what you're talking about, like the dual channel, is like basically one channel is your reference channel, and the other channel is your measurement channel. So your reference channel is you're sending the signal out and then back into your secondary channel, and so it knows like, okay, here's the time delta, right? Because it can sense that, but then it also knows the exact signal, so it uses that to basically figure out like, okay, here's my window, here's exactly what I'm looking for, here's the phase information and things that are associated with what I'm reading back. As far as like the deep inner workings of it, I might have known at one point, but I've long since forgotten if I did. So I'd have to Google that.
So it's okay, let's just put it this way. For anybody who's used REW, you'll know that if you want phase information, you have to do kind of like an acoustic timing reference. So you have to have a speaker that goes beep for the impulse, and then it knows when it sends out the signal, and then so it basically has an idea how much delay your system adds. With this, there is no delay. You kind of have a loop back where it's playing the sound at the same time where it's recording the information. And so anyway, all that doesn't matter. What really matters is that you can get a live phase trace.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy. If you're trying to align subwoofers to your mains, you can start playing with the phase and you'll start to see the coherence. You'll start to see a dip. You'll start to see where the phase starts to like really align. And it's like, oh, when you hear it align, when you see it align and you hear it align, and all the things are saying, oh, that's the right place. You're like, oh, I get it. I hear it. Now I can correlate what I hear with an actual measurement, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, you can do those kind of measurements with different software too. There's Smart SMAART. So there's two A's in it. Smart Live. But I'm trying to remember, the Rational Acoustics, I think, is the manufacturer for that. So I used to use that back in like 2008. And the cool thing about that is you can use like pink noise, and they have coherence traces and things like that. And now that's what JL Audio is using. Is I don't know that they're using Rational Acoustic software. I think maybe it's somehow affiliated, but don't quote me on that. But it does those same things with their Max Tune, which is 6 microphones, and it has a reference, and it's all one system. And it comes. Hold on.
Awesome. I wouldn't mind checking one of those out.
When is the fried okra channel with Dennis and Aaron gonna start? So this is HBO Max.
Woo!
Is that like HBO Max?
Not quite, but close.
Hey, what do we got here?
Oh, so
live unboxing. Are we gonna solo Aaron? Let's solo Aaron.
I don't know that he's gonna open that thing. That thing looks nuts. I can show you.
I'm solo.
Oh yeah.
So this is the hardware. So it's been like 2 years since I've even used it because I loaned it to my buddy Scott, who used it for a long time, and I got it back last fall, and I haven't used it. Actually, it's the first time I've taken it out of the box. So anyway, it's got like different inputs and outputs. It's actually got a headphone input, or I'm sorry, a headphone output. So as you're playing the signal through your car or your home system,
you can monitor
you can actually monitor it. Yeah. So you know if it's like close to the reference signal or not, you know, like,
sure.
And your reference will be your headphones. Hopefully your headphones aren't colored. 2 outputs, analog, SPDIF, optical, output, input. Let's see here. Power supply. So here's the other side though, right? So it's XLR inputs over here. There we go. Right. Yeah. High level inputs says it can take 80 volts peak, which I don't remember, maybe like 40 something RMS. So if you wanted to test, say you're a car audio person, you got an OEM system that you're trying to test, you're a shop, right? You could take the speaker wires and you could run it into this and you could analyze what the OEM signal is doing. And you know if you need to EQ it or not. And then these guys right here are the 6 microphones. Give me a second. Let me get the microphone.
Hold on, I got this. I got you right here, bro. Look.
You got me? Okay.
Look at. Boom.
Boom.
This is their website. First of all, I have to say the price is pretty high on this thing.
What's the price? Hey, you can either get this or a
serious,
dragon.
You know what I mean? You got to be serious.
Yeah.
But yeah,
here's
it has these extra microphones.
Here are the microphones, just so you can kind of see them in size.
Okay.
Check them out. So there's 6 of them.
Oh, those are cool.
Those
They
are tiny.
Dangly ones.
Yeah.
Those are cute.
It's a cute little microphones. It comes with.
Look at that. That's how.
Oh, there it is. There's the mic array. Look at that guy. Are we recording in Atmos or Oro over here?
What you gotta do is you take that whole array right there, and then you do moving mic with the array. So it's like, I just got 1,000 samples right now.
Yeah. So that red one I think would be the reference one. So the reference one will do timing as well, right? Or you could make a reference one a different one. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do with these. Pretty legit. Like, I don't know that I would say it's for the DIY person because it's so dang expensive.
Yeah.
And if you're a DIY person, you probably want to play around like REW or something and kind of get close and then maybe go to a shop where they know how to use something like that. But for shops, I know a lot of guys who use them that, you know, run car audio shops and they do tuning. And there's a guy in Texas got a shop. Chris Pate has a shop out in Texas, and his employee, God, I just forgot his name, Jeffrey Halt, does a lot of tunings with those. So you can use them for car audio, but then you could also use them for home. So what I played around with one was I took the microphones and just put them in different locations and put the sub right in the seated position. So I would shut off the mic and you could actually see the different responses from different locations in the room. And then you could actually sum them together. Like you could say, all right, I want the left, right, the left, right, the left front microphone and maybe the rear left microphone or something like that. Sew them together now, like which location for subwoofers is the best. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with them.
That's kind of cool. So like for multi-sub optimizer, you have to actually put a mic in each seating position that you want to optimize for. Yeah. And so it takes a while, but if you can do it all in one shot, then that's, if you have 4 seats, it's 4 times faster. Yeah. That thing is pretty cool. What I heard also is that you can use that for electrical measurement to a certain degree. I'm like,
to some degree. Like you can do amplifier measurements and things like that with it. So when I was talking to them about it, I asked them like, could I replace an analog precision or an audio precision unit? And they were like, not quite, but the specs on it are pretty dang good. They don't tout it as something like that versatile, but they probably could if they wanted to. But you can do impedance sweeps with it. There's an impedance little jig for it, so you can do impedance measurements, all sorts of stuff, man. Electrical measurements. Yeah, if you're a shop.
Have you heard of this one?
I have. Yeah.
So this is cool. We're talking about the dual channel FFT, and those other ones, they're pretty expensive. Like Smart is $800 at
Probably
least.
About 800, yeah, something like that.
So this is a free app that you can download. It's paid on the iPad, so you can actually use it on an iPad. But cool. If you just want to download it to your Mac, is it Mac only? No, cross platform. Yeah, you can download for your computer, and it's free, and it does a lot. It works pretty well. It's kind of hard to set up because you probably will have to have an external, like an audio interface where you can do a loop back is important. And so it's not the easiest thing to set up, but once you get it set up, it's kind of cool if you're into this stuff. Anyway, I have to jump into a little bit of that tech.
That stuff's cool, man.
That nerdy
Yeah,
stuff.
If you're an
speaking of
installer of any sort, something like that is just that's really good to have.
speaking of installers, I got an
Yeah.
interesting little message the other day. I got to respond back to these guys, but some company is wanting to fly me out to the Boston area
Oh,
to review their custom in-wall architectural home theater system.
somebody fancy.
Somebody, yeah.
Hmm.
You go to their website and you look at their stuff. Yeah, nothing has prices on it, so it's probably some pretty expensive.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it, right?
Yeah, kind of. Well, it's a dealer. The guy said he and I spoke at Cedia, so I don't know. We'll see. So I'll disclose all that stuff later on. Another company hit me up asking me to go down to LA area to film their new soundbar and their new studio space. I don't know. So
Well, make sure it's on the 12th and 13th.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, here's the thing. There's I got an email from Sweetwater over there in Indiana,
Yeah.
and they're doing this Dolby Atmos mixing masterclass on my birthday. And I was like, maybe I could just fly out there and go do that and see what they're talking about over there. I don't know.
Sounds like a great time.
Sounds like it'll be well, Sasha's like, you don't want to have any fun? I'm like, well, I don't know. What kind of fun can we have here in Mammoth?
I know where you can have fun. You can have fun over here in SoCal.
Dude, that needed to have been like already in the works. I'm already that had to already be done. So I don't know. There's also Audio Advice Live. I've got my tickets already to go, and I sent them some questions because I wanted to know. Let's see. I wanted to know how many Atmos systems are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, so she gave me a list of what they got going on. You guys want to see this list?
I do.
But for those of you in the Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah. I'm still planning on going, but you didn't hear me telling Joe, so they said I've got bone spurs and scar tissue. So I'm gonna go see a surgeon hopefully this week and find out what's up. Dude, I can't sit for longer than 30 minutes. So I'm hoping that I'll be all right by next week. Or
hey man, I didn't know if I could handle a 3-hour car ride to the airport and then another 10 hours of traveling. So
yeah,
we'll see. Because I got my little ass donut here that I'm sitting on now. So so in the first room we've got the so here are the Atmos rooms. Monitor audio with the Sony GTZ 380 monitor audio synergy speakers.
I cannot read any of that, bro.
What's that?
I can't read that.
Oh, you can't? Okay.
Not. I'm sure if somebody's watching on a phone, they're not gonna be able to read that.
Oh yeah, they won't be able to read that.
Just Control Plus it and blow it up.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Zoom it in.
See, there we go. Boom. Can you see that now?
That's better.
Yep. Okay. Sony GTZ 380 monitor audio, Trinov, Mad VR, Kaleidoscape, 170 screen, and this one's kind of be interesting. The Violet. You know that French company?
Yeah.
Duvet. There's they're doing a JBL synthesis, so they're doing a Phantom, so they're not doing so it's got no subwoofers.
Oh, interesting.
Right? So there's doing that Phantom speaker. Yeah, they're doing a bunch of those. Then there's the JBC Golden Ear room, a bunch of Golden Ear stuff, 124-inch screen, Focal Storm audio, 170-inch screen. So this is going to be pretty big stuff here. Bowers and Wilkins 9.4.6, DefTech Theater, Sony and Kef, and then Samsung and JBL synthesis.
So those are going to be the Atmos rooms. Is that what you're saying?
Those are going to be the Atmos, demonstrations. So
that'd be cool.
I noticed a lot of the stuff, they use this janky little kaleidoscape thing, right? Meaning I don't think I can bring a Blu-ray or a thumb drive to play anything on those systems. But I was kind of wondering, maybe I can get this new Atmos mix done and try to debut it there on one of those big ass systems there. Oh, that would be kind of interesting. That'd be kind of interesting. So, Joe, what do I need to bring Should I bring the shield and just be like, yo, can I power the shield off like a battery pack? Because I bet you nothing. I won't be able to plug anything in, right? Maybe I can get an HDMI in that rack.
I don't know what the specs are on the shield, but that would be interesting if you could.
You know, if I play some. All right, is this really a 916? Let's play this SACT track. Let's play my new Dolby Atmos mix and see what's going on. Because I think a lot of people are just using the same old demos. It's going to be the same demo material in every room. Got to change things up a little bit, switch it up.
Let's see. They have just looking at their power adapter. I don't know. I can imagine you walking around with like a backpack holding like a UPS battery backup.
That'd be pretty funny.
Dude, I like seriously, like I bring it at weddings.
You brought last time to CES.
I'm like looking at my, my luggage, and I'm like, what do? Do I just ship one of those carts to the hotel and then ship it back? Have them ship it back to me? Yeah, Top Gun in every room. Yeah, that would be lame as shit.
What? How dare you? Top Gun in every room would be awesome.
Is that movie even a good like demo movie?
Well, Shane used his what do you call it? His Trinnov viewer, and it was a very static mix, except for a couple of.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you can with a static Dolby Atmos mix, you can actually make a whole lot happen. I know, we've done it. we've done it. People are like, man, I heard all this stuff moving around the room, and in my head, I'm like, oh, tricked you, gotcha, bitch. Yeah, there wasn't all kinds of.
Okay, so here's a good question.
But anyway,
I have a few notes here, like some questions I could possibly ask him in case we happen to not have a lot to talk about, but it's related to what you're kind of talking about.
Okay.
What's a good media player that plays pretty much everything? You know what I mean? Like I hear Zidu and I hear Zapidi and I hear NVIDIA Shield.
The funny part. Okay, so Zapidi I think is gone now. Right, I think they're going to do some support. So I think Zapidi's gone. I tried to look for a Zidu on Amazon, and they don't have any. So I don't know what's happening to them either. But when I type in Zidu, I get this Dune pops up here. Let me share my screen. This Dune player pops up. So I think this might be the only game in town now. $500, and this will supposedly play all the other stuff and has like a internal drive bay single. This looks exactly like the Zapidi controller, this one on the right.
So what format can that play?
So this will play all the lossless MKV, M2TS. This should play everything. ISO, BDMV folder.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask about. ISO, BDMV. Because NVIDIA Shield can do MKV and M2TS.
Right.
Not the other ones.
Yeah, because the other ones retain the folder structure and everything else.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So which one? That's the least expensive one?
That's the only one that's on Amazon right now. So I don't know what's happening because the Zidu 9, which I got for Writer's Room, was only $249. Which was like the same price as the smallest Zapidi. You can't find a Zapidi. All the Zapidis are in back order. So I'm not sure. Yeah, Doom players. Yeah.
He says it's the new Zapidi.
No, nothing says was able to download your Atmos song and transfer the file to USB stick and play it on my Xbox Series X. Was that the MP4 file? Because when we're talking about these file compatibilities, we need to make sure we know what we're talking about. Somebody said that they were able to get an MP4 to play on their my newest MP4 to play on their Panasonic Blu-ray player, and I was like, "What? Are you real? For real?" They're like, "Yeah, it played without problems, and it played in Atmos." And so I tried it here on the UB420 that I have. I updated it because I thought it was an update. Psh, nothing, still nothing. So I don't know what happened. Oh, Zidu. Zidu's the new Dune.
Zidu.
Zidu.
I don't know anything about that stuff, man.
Well, I mean, I have 3 of them in the house, and they all still work. So
I like the Shield. For me, it works for me.
Yeah, so I can put it should play the MP4, right? The lossy version.
Everything can play the MP4. If you wanted to get real crazy, you could buy like a little $30 like I don't know Android TV or something like that.
Yeah, I just want to have something in my backpack.
Well, that
or my satchel.
Those are USB-C, and they run off like a 5-volt, 5-volt 1 amp most of the time. So like I'm pretty sure a little, battery bank would probably run it.
Yeah. That's
the Shield is different. It has a proprietary power port, plug, and all that. So that's a little tougher. But if it's just an MP4, with a lossy Atmos, which we
maybe I do this. Maybe Friday when the show starts, I go to all of the rooms and see what equipment they have. All right. Then Saturday I go quick trip to Best Buy and be like, okay.
We'll figure it out afterwards because we actually have our Daily HiFi Crew, our group chat on Facebook Messenger. If you're interested in supporting in some way and benefiting by getting a chance to talk to everybody in the group chat.
So roundabout way of saying, if you're in the North Carolina area, August 4, 5, 6, I think is what it is. Come by Audio Advice, hang out with me, and hopefully this guy below.
Yeah, I hope so.
This is not a paid anything from Audio Advice. This is just Chano wanting to hang out with you guys.
Yeah. Let's come hang out, and hopefully I can play you my new Atmos mix over there, because that would be actually pretty cool. And then there's gonna be like cool shit to listen to that we can never afford. So I don't. There's that. There's that. There's also that. Hey, so I want to talk about something. Do you guys remember American Gladiators?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I watched the documentary.
Did you see it? It's called dude, we just finished it. Muscles and Mayhem on Netflix is awesome. You gotta see it.
Yeah.
It's only 5 episodes, man. It's easy. It's quick.
Yeah, okay, you got this.
Hey, I like the Arnold one that you recommended.
The Arnold one's fantastic. Yeah.
That was great.
Only 3 episodes. Yeah. That's great.
You still got to see Wind River though.
This is true.
That's awesome.
Joe has did the pilot episode? I never saw that before.
I didn't,
That thing looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
They actually made a show on the pilot. You guys gotta watch it. It's hilarious.
Who was the main guy that they kind of like have talking a lot?
Nitro.
He has kind of like an Asian, like
He's a hopper. He's a hopper. Yeah.
So okay. Nitro.
Sasha was like, "Oh, he was my boyfriend back when I was a little girl, right?" She had a crush, and it's somewhere through like episode 4, and she's like, "Oh man, like my dreams of this guy being a boy, I guess he's not nice." It shattered the dream of this guy.
Those dudes were so juiced up, though.
Oh yeah,
that's what's crazy.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Like you watch and you're like, that doesn't look fair. Like. You see,
I was a kid. I was not thinking about, oh my god, they're juiced up. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's could get hammered. Like it wasn't like I knew what steroids were back when I was like 6, 7. I didn't care. It was just something fun to do and watch with the family.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, so you're saying it's good.
Oh yeah,
it is good.
You'll see some shit. You'll be like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, and they all still look good. Like they look like they're healthy still, Like
how old are they right now?
I don't know. That Malibu guy looked a little shady.
Oh no, I forgot about him. Well, I was thinking of like the main. There's like 4 or 5 that they continually show, and Nitro's one of them.
Ice.
The laser guy is another one. That dude aged well. I was like,
he did.
All right. Like, I mean, look, when a guy looks handsome, I got no problem giving him props. He's a handsome looking man. So, but then they have. I didn't say
Thank you.
They said they have. I'm just kidding. You're handsome too, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, they all. I would just think like as much as they put themselves through that they'd probably all be broken down, but dude, they turned out all right.
You know who? Side topic. Yeah, I have to go to wrestling for a sec, but dude, Lex Luger he doesn't look good. You guys seen Lex Luger lately? Anyway,
no.
Dude, look up Lex Luger. Be like, who's that?
Yeah, I see.
Ugh. Anyway. That's some crazy around him. But
Everyday Jay
American
says
Gladiator. Okay, so do they
steroids
address
or not, it
the-
still looks like it's a lot of work to look like that for sure, 100%. They went on tour. I didn't even know about this.
I didn't know
tour
that
when
either.
Yeah, they went on tour, and so they were like the Zap lady was like, yeah, I had to do the joust 6 times,
Like
so,
in one day, like
in one day
Yeah.
against different people.
Yeah.
And so she's like, if you were the first one, you're done. Second one, you're done. Third one, you might have a chance. Sixth one, I'm losing. And
did
she's
they
like, it
ever-
was so unfair because everybody was fresh and all that, it's crazy.
Did they ever address like that one, the final stage where they shoot people with the tennis balls?
Yeah.
It looked like that thing hurt. Did they?
Yeah.
Did they mention that in
No,
the?
no, they showed it. They showed it, but they
Dude, that
didn't.
thing did not look. It didn't look safe. Like somebody would get hit. Like,
Dude, if you don't think that looks safe, you should see the games they had at the very beginning.
You really should.
They were ridiculous.
The joust before they like the one that they had like the drop.
Yeah, they had these drawbridges. They'd push you back, and then the floor would just fall out. And so
Yeah.
they were worried about not hitting that thing on the way
Yeah.
down, not
Yeah.
losing, like
Oh,
because you
man.
could hurt yourself.
It was crazy. You should watch.
great show. Okay, all right.
And then
I'll add it to my list.
Yeah, add it to your list. And just so you know, Arnold makes an appearance there too.
Oh,
Which
okay.
I was that guy's everywhere. Have you seen
I
this
feel,
show?
I feel like he's like a part owner of Netflix or something now.
Right now,
What
dude,
is
he's
that?
got that show Fubar on Netflix. We just
Yeah.
finished that. It's like 6 episode or something. Hilarious. Hilarious.
Did y'all see that they're doing, they did the Arnold documentary thing, right? They're doing one for Stallone. It's coming out in November.
Oh,
Really?
I was like, say no more. That's going to be
That's
a
great.
watch party. Like,
Dude, totally.
I'm pumped, man.
I love the fact in the second one, right? And he's talking about, it was me and it was just me versus Sylvester Stallone. It's who could do it.
Yeah, just duking it out.
Who did you like better?
Ooh, I like both of them. I can't pick one, man.
Yeah.
I never even thought they were competing back in the day.
Oh, absolutely.
In my mind, I never thought as a competition. It was like,
I'm going to give you the messed up short version of this and need to go find it. But there's an interview where Stallone, or was it Arnold? They were talking about how they were battling, right? So there was that Stop or My Mom Will Shoot movie. I used to love it. I don't know if y'all ever saw it, but it had Estelle Getty, the woman the oldest mom in Golden Girls.
Golden Girls, yeah.
Yeah. So she played the mom in this movie, but the story that Arnold told was that just to mess with Stallone, he got his agent to act like Arnold wanted the movie. So Stallone would take it. And then when Stallone took it, he was like, haha, like it just totally set him up. Like you need to go find it. There's an interview with like Jay Leno or somebody where they're talking about it. It's so good.
oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they were competing for sure.
Stallone is the better actor. Yeah, I would say so. All the Rocky stuff, and he wrote all of them. Those are actually like legit
He won
movies.
an Oscar for writing the first one, right? So
Yeah, so they got their own thing, but when it comes to physique, it's kind of hard to beat Arnold, right? It's literally
back
he's
in the
best.
day,
Like, he was I think he's still the best. Like I see some of these dudes now, I'm like, I don't know about that.
yeah, he looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked.
I mean,
jacked.
I do agree with what somebody said there. Angela said it. Arnold is funnier. I would agree with that. Arnold
in Twins is one of my favorite roles that Arnold.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Oh dude. Oh, and Fubar has a bunch of like little hidden things because he talked about Danny DeVito in Twins. In Fubar, like,
I haven't seen Fubar, so I gotta go watch Fubar.
I won't say anything, but there's random stuff from like almost the exact same scene that happened in Face Off is in Fubar. Like there's all these like hidden Easter eggs for people that actually like watched Arnold movies that are awesome. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, and for the most part, Fubar is almost like True Lies, but just with a little twist.
True Lies. Oh, I remember that. That's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis was in that.
I don't know how fake that recording sound. Do you guys remember when like take it slowly?
Slowly. Dude, it was just on like a week ago. Dude, Arnold's been all over the TV. Like I know you guys don't watch a whole lot of TV, but all of a sudden, I'm just like, what is this? That's like, what was it? The one with the rail guns that with the that one action movie with the rail guns and stuff. I forget, from the 90s. I'm like, what is this? Like, why is Arnold on this channel? And then he's on another channel, and then he's on this, and then he's on this.
Predator was that's a classic.
Oh, for sure.
Classic.
No, The Eraser. That's what it's called.
The Eraser. Oh yeah. That was with Vanessa Williams in it too.
Yeah. Dude, Conan was on the other night too. Like, I'm telling you, man, this guy's what, 77? He's just all over the place.
Yeah, he's doing something.
What about Last Action Hero was terrible. What about Stallone? See if the guys in the chat remember Stallone
75,
and Over the Top.
He's 75. Dude, Last Action Hero, it was all about the girl. That's what it was all about.
I don't even remember Last Action Hero. That's how bad it was. Oh, Jingle All the Way. There's another Stallone movie. And Sinbad was in that.
Sinbad.
Sinbad is so awesome. Dude, in like the 90s, the early 90s, mid 90s, Sinbad was everywhere. He had those like Disney movies like First Kid.
He did.
That was awesome.
Oh man.
Boy,
anyway.
There's some
audio stuff. Maybe we should. Here's a month. I don't know about that. I think. Yeah,
I know Joe doesn't want to say anything, but I do know there's a section in there called diagonals, and I know that there's a
let's just say it was
maybe it was just a coincidence. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
anyway,
you know what would be funny is like if there was a calibration kind of toolkit for the old school 5.1, it's like if you look at it, what if it had diagonals in there?
Yeah, who knows? I don't even know.
What else?
Aaron, you got something there? Okay.
No, go ahead.
Everyday Jay says, Aaron, have you ever seen anyone make a hybrid 5.1 system in an RV?
No.
Using the same speaker system for the living room?
No, I have not.
That seems like a fun project.
A mobile theater?
I'm sure it exists. I'm certain that it exists, but like out in UAE or something where the guys have just ridiculous money.
I don't know, man. I think that there's a fairly good amount of people in the United States that have a buttload of money too.
That have what they call FU money.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know what? This kind of relates to something that I think Kelvin was asking in our Daily HiFi group chat, and he had those in-wall KEF speakers, and he was asking you, Aaron, about angling them.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it looked like it was kind of off the wall, right? And
right. I saw that.
So like, what would be the difference between in-wall and on-wall for the most part? Like, what are some noticeable, like, important differences?
Like sound differences? Well, like, so the further that the speaker is off the wall, it really depends on how well it's made, but you're going to have that dip in the mid-range from where the sound radiates forward, but also radiates backward, hits that wall, and then comes back and cancels with the forward radiating sound. And it's like, it depends on the depth of the speaker, but I would say like probably 200 to 400 hertz ballpark, maybe 500 hertz. So you're going to have that a pretty big cancellation null there. And then on top of that, if the speaker wasn't like truly designed for on wall, let's say it has like baffle step compensation for off wall speaker, like, sitting outside the room, and then you put it on the wall, but there's going to be some additional loading for the frequencies that are longer than the distance from the front of the baffle to the rear of the baffle, which means that let's just say like the distance happens to be equivalent to like a 200 hertz wavelength. I'm just making stuff up, right? And then that frequency and below would then theoretically at least be boosted in frequency. So it's going to sound more full, but it could sound resonant or boomy compared to the rest of the speaker's response. Like if you took a perfectly flat on-axis speaker, you put it on the wall, you're going to boost the very, very low end. And I don't know that you would want that. You could EQ it out, right? But you'd have to make sure you got the EQ tools. Like you can't go in there with a graphic EQ and start just dropping stuff down, because then it's like this, right? Like that pattern that you're making by dropping graphic channels down or bands would just be weird looking. So I guess you could undo it with maybe like a high shell filter or a low shell filter. I always get them confused which one's which. But
I guess the reason I asked is just because he's asking about the RV, and it's kind of like I'm assuming you're gonna have to do something like set inside of the thing. I don't know. Right. I've never put speakers in the RV, so I don't know.
He said I need a way to switch the speaker signals for driving listening versus theater listening. So there's that as well.
The idea though.
Well,
I've never seen that. So Subwoofer guy did it.
Yeah, something close to that. I don't know if it's the same thing that he's asking, but it was. So when I took the phone call a minute ago when I had to bail out, I was actually talking with somebody about this. like my car right now has multiple channels, and I'm trying to decide, due to cost, if I want to replace all the speakers in the car and try to have a multi-channel tune in the car, but then also have a one-seat tune in the car. So that's kind of, maybe that's what he's talking about. You could do that with the right DSP with just, hey, this is going to be preset 1. It's going to be for the primary listening position. And then preset 2 would be multi-channel listening or something like that.
We should let them know it's in a Ford Fiesta.
In a Ford Fiesta.
Are
you going to
does it really feel like you're at a party driving that thing? Is that
Chano, why were you showing me that thing mode, by the way? In our group chat, you're showing us the that, what is it, Ferrari SUV, and I'm so disgusted.
There's a Ferrari SUV. I know y'all are talking about that.
The Pura Sangue.
I knew there's a Lamborghini SUV, but I know there's a Ferrari.
But the thing is, like, the Lamborghini Urus is based off of my car, which is an Audi. So if you look at all the parts, they all say Audi, 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 except for the handful of things that say Lamborghini. If you look at the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT, which is also like the same thing with the same engine, and they all have to share the same engine, the twin turbo V8. So the Ferrari did a car from an SUV from the ground up, which is a 12-cylinder naturally aspirated. There you go. That's it.
Dude, that thing's gorgeous.
Yeah, suicide rear doors, all that stuff. But Joe's like, you're not gonna buy. You gotta buy a Ferrari. You can't buy an SUV. Joe, this is the daily. The Pagani Huayra is the sports car.
Woo! Look at that. Now I don't know about the back end. I'm kind of like, I mean, I just don't know about the taillights. That's the thing I'm not sure about.
That's the new like design language for all the new for the new cars. Yeah,
that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know, man. We can get a $400,000 tax write-off if it's over 6,000.
You know what the dumbest thing I've ever seen? That guy.
That guy.
All right. If you're gonna get a Ferrari, go ahead. You can spotlight me. If you're gonna get a Ferrari, man. You know what I mean? The Ferrari's made for the track. If you want an SUV, then go get an SUV. That's unless you already have a Ferrari, and this is just for this.
Who's Ferrari?
Other Ferrari, so you can both match. But come on, stop with this. Stop, please.
He was so annoyed. He was so annoyed. It's like kind of all-wheel drive.
This is a moneymaker. This is like when we make our top 5 video, right? So for Ferrari, they don't sell a ton, but if they can sell this to these, to Chana or something like that, and he buys it,
well,
then he can sell a bunch of those. So
that's
cool.
what saved
Porsche.
Moneymaker. That's what saved Porsche like 15 years ago when they came out with the Cayenne.
Exactly, because everybody buys their SUV, but the real car fans are gonna buy the 911. Right. They're gonna buy the GT3 RS, and then everybody keeps them afloat. So hey, buy those.
There you go.
So when it's time,
there it is. That's the other one. That's the other one. Woo.
That makes more sense, though. You know what I mean?
This is the Cullinan. Oh yeah. You guys want a tax write-off? Forget the AMG G-Wagon bullshit. Go with the Cullinan Black. The Cullinan Black. That Black edition was crazy.
What's Bentley's? What's there?
Bentley?
Bentayga. Yeah, that's
right. Oh, the Bentayga. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, no, this thing's hideous. I'll throw it up there.
Let's see. I haven't seen a lot of these.
Yeah, no, that's hideous. Hold up. I'll throw it up. I know the people in the chat are like, or people watching this back are like, who cares?
Who cares? Let's see. What are we looking at here?
Bentley Bentayga.
You know what that looks like? If you cut off the front end, it looks like it could be a different car.
Different type of Bentley.
No,
you mean like a Nissan? It could be like a Nissan SUV or something.
Right? Well, who makes Bentley? Like, who's the?
It's VW.
Oh, well, there you go.
Wait, no.
Dude, that looks like a Subaru.
Yeah, it's Bentley.
The Daily Car Show. That's right.
This looks like a Subaru.
No, it's probably based off the Audi. Just like the Audi that I have is they use it for VW, they use it for Porsche, they use it for Lamborghini, and they use it for Bentley. Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is the same as my car.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway. So anyway, well, enough of that. We'll get back into the audio stuff. It just so happens that car stuff audio stuff,
car audio stuff.
They're all somewhat related.
I mean, I have a Bang & Olufsen system in my Audi, so got more speakers than my Atmos system. 23 speakers, 1900 watts.
That Mach-E that my mom just got, Mustang Mach-E. I showed you a picture. I think that one's a B&O system too, right?
Oh yeah. The Hideous Car Podcast.
Yes. Oh, quick question. I don't know if we can turn this into a little daily clip or not, if there's enough content, but you were talking about your what were those? Dyne Audio.
Yeah.
Dyne Audio speakers you reviewed.
Yeah.
And how you said they had really good imaging. And I kind of followed up in the comment, like, what do you think makes good imaging? What's the spec to look for wow, this thing has great imaging? Like, what are some of the specs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's funny, as I actually talked about it in the video, but I edited it out because it was 29 minutes long before I edited it down to 20.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'll say that maybe for a different actual topic. But from my experience in car audio, especially, the most important thing for imaging is left-right matching, right? Like making sure that the left and right are dead on exactly the same. But then
at the listening position, though, like, so I want to clarify
position. Yeah.
So, like, you're not talking about, oh, these drivers match perfectly. You're talking about they should sound to you like they're the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can taking a microphone and EQ in the left speaker and then making them sure the right speaker matches, in response. Doing that. And then the other thing is like the radiation pattern. So if you have a good example is if you have an omnidirectional speaker, there's going to be a lot of crap going everywhere in the room, especially if it's a really reflective room, versus a speaker that maybe just super tight, narrow profile. It's going to be less stuff going on in the room. So less opportunity for smearing, I guess. That's kind of been my experience. But yeah, this speaker, I was really surprised at how tight the imaging was. So I think what I'm going to start doing is testing both speakers, not full spin, but at least maybe just try to test the frequency response on axis and just how close are they. But the real problem with that is you have to be like dead on, right? Like I had to put the speaker in the exact same spot, down to the millimeter. Because if the microphone is just a little bit off from where it was before, then things can change, right?
So then it's my issue with that, though, is let's say the speakers match perfectly.
Yeah.
Once you put them into the room, the fact that a room is not symmetrical,
yes, absolutely.
Then that whatever differences that would possibly have, the moment you measure the left speaker and the right speaker, and you throw them in the REW and overlay them, you're like, that's not exactly the same.
Yeah, no, I agree. So that's the room's fault, right? Like, so I'm talking about just the speaker alone. But when you put it into a room, especially if it's an asymmetrical room, like you're saying, all bets are off, man.
So wide. So it's interesting because I always wondered, like, what is that super high end omnidirectional one? It's like 3 letters.
Yeah, it's B&O, right?
MBL.
Oh, MBL. Okay.
The MBL, omnidirectional, like $1 million omnidirectional speakers. I'm kind of curious, like, if you put those into a room, they're radiating all over 360 degrees. And if you played some tracks that you really know well, what is the imaging going to be like? Like, accurate? What random? Is it going to just make up images? How does that work?
Is this what you're talking about? This thing here?
Yeah.
This?
Yeah, that's one of them.
400,000 a pair. So look, you can get a car or one speaker.
They make a couple different.
Oh yeah, here they are.
They make a couple different models.
It's cheaper for you, Aaron.
Oh,
40,000.
Yeah, there you go. They have like a bookshelf size one too. Is that?
Oh, here's the lineup.
Doesn't that?
This looks like a little person. It's like like arms.
You gotta say, dude, those look pretty.
Here's like the Darth Vader one, right? Here's Mini Vader. Here's Baby Vader over.
Baby Vader. Oh, it does look like that. Oh, now I can't unsee that. I didn't see that until you said it, but now I can't unsee it.
This is Teenage Vader.
That's not cool, man. Why you do that? Why you do that? Dun dun dun.
And the other ones are how they make them. Yeah. So yeah, those are cool. I've actually heard some of those before, but it was at a trade show, so I couldn't get a good idea.
Here's what's messed up. The first picture you see is this. At first I was like, no, man, this what is this?
Yeah, that does look kind of weird.
This guy being transported to the opera with some weird hooded figures in the back. Like, what's this? Is it going to be a murder mystery? I don't know.
Murder mystery.
Happening. But then there's a fire. Yeah, exactly. Is this dinner? Is this medieval times over here?
Medieval times. Yeah. There'll be a dude chugging along on a horse in a second. That is a really weird image for them to
like,
use.
Why is this? What is this?
I don't know.
Hey,
that is
Joe,
very odd.
Or Angela, we need to put some opera singer on the spatial CD site.
What is that?
Okay, so I'm not married, so I can make these jokes now. Like that dude is straight up trying to ignore his wife. He's like, I'm taking to my happy place. And she's like, I told you to take the laundry and put it away. And he's like, I just got home from work.
Rock me on the dance.
Okay, so let's practice at 5.
That's what you get the MBLs for. You want to be able to ignore everything in life. MBL.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with this idea, but they need to step into my office. Why? Because they're fired.
Yeah, exactly. Rock me Amadeus.
I have no idea. What does this have to do with the speaker? Like, this is you're right there.
That's what happens. I guess that's what happens when you get these speakers. This lady appears.
Does she come and help set them up?
No, that's the other dudes in the back.
That's the dudes in the back.
She's gonna help calibrate with her voice.
Yeah.
There it is.
My voice is in the center.
Moving around the room.
But to their defense, the people that I've talked to that have heard these at different shows have said they sound good. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard them myself, but
I think it would just be like, okay, you like that Bose speaker that radiated in a weird way.
Yeah.
And it just did something kind of cool. Like, it just, that's cool. Like, whatever it did, it's probably like a great version of that.
Yeah. If it's linear, then that would be cool. The other one that I think Chana and I thought you were talking about, there's the B&O, the Beolab 90.
Yeah,
I
the
think
Beolab 90s. Yeah, my uncle has those. Yeah.
Dude, I want to hear because you can control the dispersion. Jody, have you heard about those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
They look all crazy with all the drivers everywhere.
Yeah, all the ScanSpeak drivers. But for those who don't know, like you can control the dispersion of them. So they're omnidirectional speaker, but you can use an app and you can basically make them go from omni to frontward firing. Like, I don't know how tight of a window, but pretty tight. So depending on the music that you're listening to, if you want it to sound a certain way or your room, like you have all these ways of controlling it. I want to say they're like, oh gosh, I was going to say
90,000 a pair.
80 or 90.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
80, 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, my uncle has it. I'm looking for a picture.
This MBL, somebody said put it on your clipper. What would that look like? What would the directivity index look like? Would that be the flat line?
Flat. I mean, I'm assuming it will be flat at 0 dB, just completely flat. If it's truly omnidirectional, and it kind of is hard to tell. It looks like it may.
Somebody send Aaron one of those, please.
It looks like the speakers are put forward of the cabinets a little bit in this image. So it may, just because of diffraction effects, it's probably not going to be perfectly flat, but horizontally it should basically be perfectly flat.
Those gold things, I think those gold things radiate.
Yeah, they expand, right? Like a balloon or something.
Yeah. Please send those to him because I would love to see that on the clipple.
I'm trying to remember if these were. Do you guys know who 2 Chainz is? First of all,
yeah. I know.
Y'all seen his most expensivest stuff YouTube series? I think he heard these.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
This is a big house, though. I like this picture. This looks pretty nice. I gotta have a house this big first.
Yeah.
So then put these, and then wait, but look at this picture though. Who's sitting right here? Who's sitting right here? Wouldn't you be sitting over here? Why is there a couch? Did AI make this, dude? I type into I go to Midjourney and type in home theater, and the AI is like, all the seats are here, but the screen is on this side of the wall.
Can you do this, Anna? Can you go to Midjourney and type in like husband listening to music while wife sings opera?
Oh yeah.
Can you do that and see what comes up? It's probably the same exact photo.
Midjourney.
I gotta do it on this computer over here, but yeah, I can do it.
So
here's the Beolab. I found the picture on my Instagram. This is my old Instagram, so don't have access to this anymore. But I went to go visit my dad. He was hanging out at my uncle's house, and so we got to play around with a few things. I took my dad to the store, to the music store, so we played some of that. Then we went and drove the Huracan, and then I've already driven the NSX before, but then they had the Baylab 80s. I took the grills off to see what's our Baylab 90s.
You want to throw it on?
Is it? Oh, is it not there?
No,
God damn it!
I got it.
There it is. Yeah, so there's my dad. We went to the music store, and then we drove the Huracan, and then the NSX, the bottom right. It's a nice car. It's got the dual motor. Anyway, so my uncle has these, and so when I talked to my cousin, I'm like, "Yo, dude, let's fire these up." You know what he said?
What?
Want to see your reaction? That they don't work. I'm like, what do you mean they don't work?
Well, yeah.
He's like, well, the audio guy that's supposed to set this stuff up, like, he's like, this stuff hasn't been working for like 2 months. I'm like, who the fuck is your audio guy?
Yeah.
And why do they not have your shit fixed and like working? He's like, oh, dude, we needed this something broke and we needed this adapter. And so they're like, he was telling me this long ass, like a whole list of excuses. I'm like, dude, this is a $90,000 pair of speakers.
Gotta work.
You give me the cables. I'll make it work right now on my iPhone. Like, let's go. You know.
Yeah, that's rich people problems.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's this stuff doesn't work. Okay.
We never
drive the Lamborghini for now.
I don't know if we really answered the initial question before we veered off and started making fun of the MBL website. But so imaging, you're saying,
question, yeah.
You know, the two speakers have sounding the same at the listening position, having the frequency response. But how about like radiation pattern? You said wide versus. See, that's the thing I'm confused about, because in my mind, if the recording is binaural, meaning the spaciousness is in the recording itself.
Yeah.
Like if you put on headphones, you actually get a feeling of spaciousness.
Yeah.
Because it's in the recording itself.
Yeah.
I feel like narrow radiation, where just like minimizing any reflections, is the best, because it'll give you the most idea of spaciousness that's in the recording, because you're getting less of the reflections from the room. But if it requires the room to kind of enhance the soundstage, because in binaural, having any room reflections actually degrades the soundstage. It takes away from it, because it's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So, but if the music, like most music, is not in binaural, and it's kind of like the room is adding its own ambience, I guess, its own reflections. So is that what it is? I don't know. Like, could you possibly play something that's mono, and you have some speakers that really interact with the room a lot, and even if it's mono, kind of like gives you a sense of a wider soundstage?
I don't even follow your question there.
Well, you've played with a lot of different speakers, and you like ones that have a wider radiation pattern.
Yeah, to some degree. Yeah, no pun intended.
Yeah. So you've checked out a lot of like different speakers too.
Yeah.
Some weird designs and things like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And you have the measurement to show you exactly how wide it's actually.
Right.
For me, I have to guess. Like, I think it seems like it's narrow. I don't have the measurements to show it. So, but you've constantly said, "Hey, I prefer wide."
Yeah, I mean, I figured that out after about probably a year of listening and then seeing the measurements, and after you get so many under your belt, you start to be like, okay, there's a common theme of what I'm seeing in the data and what I like when I heard the speaker. And that radiation pattern is kind of one of them. Like for me, 60 degree, like plus, so it'd be 120 degrees to about 140 degrees is kind of like the sweet spot for me. Any more narrow than that, and there's not as much room involvement, because I like a little bit of extra room involvement, because I like the sidewall reflections and stuff like that. And then any more wide than that, like then there's too much room involved.
Is there an inverse relationship between the width of the soundstage and the wide radiation pattern and how pinpoint the imaging is? So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's talked about like in any science related articles, but my notion, and it's kind of it's rooted in a lot of this experience is holy cow.
There it is.
What is that?
It's a man listening to music with his wife yelling at him.
That's crazy.
Oh man!
Look at this. What is this guitar type thing she's holding? What is this?
I don't know, man.
How many fingers does that guy have?
What's going on in the background? Is that General Zod in the background?
I know. Oh yeah. What are these people? Who are they?
I don't know what's going on, dude.
And then there these two on the left seem to be in like a coffee shop.
Dude, that looks so real.
I know, right?
What the heck?
That is crazy.
That's hilarious. I didn't know it looked like that real.
Yeah. I set realistic on. So
that makes sense.
Is there an inverse relationship?
Yeah. So the question is, what's the perfect radiation, right? So I think there isn't one. I think it just depends on you, the listener, and the room. Like the two combined. And then you also got to factor in the speaker, right? Like if it's not a good speaker with like good off-axis performance, say it's maybe brighter off-axis at a certain couple frequencies because there's a diffraction dip or the crossover isn't designed well or something like that, then the room and the speaker become more of a problem, right? Than just the speaker on its own. That's why I'll save it for after chat. So yeah, sorry, give me a second. Let me recoup.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I was going to bring something up, but I don't want to bring it up in public.
Okay.
Anyway, so my anecdotal impression is that speakers that are very wide have a more diffuse soundstage than speakers that are very narrow. Just on their own, listening to the same music doesn't matter, right? Because certainly, like you're saying, music plays a role in what you're hearing. So if a track is recorded with a lot of spaciousness and another one isn't, you're going to hear that difference. Regardless of how wide or narrow your speakers are, you'd hear the difference between those two tracks on the same set of speakers. So you take the music out of it and then you just talk about, all right, what is the speaker doing and what's the speaker doing in the room? Is there a lot more room involvement? Is there less room involvement? And then it's not just that a speaker is radiating wide, because at low frequencies below like 400 or 500 hertz for most bookshelf type speakers, they're omnidirectional, right? And then above that, they start to narrow up. Like 90 degrees at 500 hertz, and then 1 kilohertz, they're maybe, they're still 90 degrees, but most likely they're like 60 or 70, depending on how the drivers are aligned and what's used, it'll be narrowing as it goes higher in frequency. There's a lot of variables going on there, but the room and the speaker are definitely impactful.
It's just interesting because I haven't read anything about that specifically. And so when there's not a ton of research on it, maybe there is, and I don't know about it. If there is,
let me know. Maybe there is, and I don't know.
But if there isn't, it's kind of like I have to listen to what people have to say, like what their anecdotal evidence is, Yeah. It's the best I can possibly do, and I have to go based on my experience. So anyway.
So another example that I can give you, pretty easy though, is car audio. There's a period of time where people in car audio were running quote wideband drivers. So they use like a 3 or 4 inch and without a tweeter. They call it going tweeterless. And all the cars that I heard had more precise pinpoint imaging when they weren't running a tweeter than the ones who were running a tweeter. And I attributed that to less reflections because the car is super reflective. You got glass everywhere, excuse me. So I carry that over into home audio as well. Without blind testing it, I don't know, but you can sit in front of a good set of stereo speakers and you can say, all right, the left image of this track is panned, like outside the typical 90-degree window or whatever the panning is. So it actually sounds like it's outside of the speakers, to the left of the speaker. And narrow radiation speakers, they tend to just stay right at the speaker. They don't really go a whole lot further than outside that speaker. But when they're wider, I can just close my eyes and I can point, and then I'll open my eyes. And if I'm pointing past outside of the speaker, then I can guess, oh, that one's probably about plus or minus 50, or plus or minus 70 if my arm's like way over to the side.
Yeah. Well, and I think they do talk about that in Floyd Toole's book, where I think what it ends up being is like when that sidewall reflection is close enough in time.
Yeah.
And sound. So in response and in time, your brain kind of like, those might be the same sound. That might be the same source. So maybe the source is out here.
Yeah.
Right. So it kind of makes sense. Anyway, I don't want to get too
nerdy.
Yeah, too nerdy with this stuff. I can get real.
Well,
crazy.
hey, I went a little nerdy.
Did you?
With what you guys wanted on Midjourney? So here it is. I said 1950s.
Okay.
So here it is. We got this one with lightning in the background and water. Oh wait, you got to put it
That's
up.
That's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
There it is. There you go, MBL. Send that to MBL right there.
Yeah.
Send that over and say, hey, we got a new one for you.
Dude, those radios look cool though.
I know. Look, is this a Tesla? What is?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
This one's a TV. Look at this.
Wow.
This is all messed
look at
up.
his finger. Oh, look at his finger. Look at his fingers right there.
His fingers are jacked
Oh,
up.
look, she's got like 6. Oh no, she's got 5, but they're all messed up. Look at that.
Look at his finger though.
Oh, what's going on here? Their hands just melted into each other.
I almost wonder, does this
look,
site,
she's got 6 fingers here.
does this website do those kind of things on purpose so it can be like certain that it's not real? Like,
no, it can't do hands. They can't.
No, it has a yeah.
They have
It has this Lucy and Ricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has issues with hands. That's a thing.
What else? Somebody mentioned Wipeout. Who was the one who mentioned Wipeout here?
I don't think it was Paul.
Wipeout. Oh yeah. They all have the Wipeout logo, and I know Paul's been saying that Wipeout is actually good. I watched this one video from Ripe Wave Audio where he's reviewing some Yamaha AVR, and he's saying it was actually pretty good. And he was kind of going through the on-screen menu. Did you ever use the one with the boomerang?
The boomerang, yeah.
Because what's interesting is actually showed the angle of the height speakers. So that's something like a Trinov would do.
Mm-hmm.
No other system does that except Trinov and I guess Yamaha and maybe the Sony stuff. But maybe the new stuff doesn't suck. I don't know. Have you tried it recently?
No.
Like you never ran Wipeout. You'd rather make fun of it.
Yeah, I did run Wipeout. I ran Wipeout. Yeah, I ran Wipeout with the boomerang, and I did their little bass control thing too.
Recently?
Nah, no. Like when I got the thing.
Like
2
how
years
long
ago.
2 years?
Okay. It's been a year. At least been a year.
Okay. And
so I don't know.
Was it all right?
I mean, it was okay.
Okay.
I'm not like writing home to mom about it. Oh my god.
Well, I'm trying to give Yamaha a little bit of a love here, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Just because he said it sounded all right, all I'm saying is maybe it is good. I haven't tried it, so I don't know.
We need to get you a Yamaha to try.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yamaha.
Those AVRs are not easy to review.
Yeah, I didn't have the patience for the extra button that said save. That's
there's too many features.
It's too feature packed, Paul. There's too many awesome features of the Yamaha. I couldn't get it to work.
Yamaha.
So today I released the video finally on the ELAC Vero sub.
Yes, I started to watch that, and it made me sad instantly because I thought they have discontinued their sub 1010. That cheap one, that I thought was really good for like $110.
They discontinued it?
Well, I don't know. I guess I should email them and just ask, but they're not. I don't see them for sale anywhere. Anyway, sorry. I meant to cut you off, but I didn't mean to cut you off. So go ahead.
Yeah, well, I know that you recommended that one. I'm surprised that they actually discontinued it if that's the case.
I mean, I think it sold a lot for them. I know that.
Yeah. So yeah, I reviewed this new Vero sub. Kind of interesting because it has that hex surround.
Yeah.
And they claim that it makes a driver more linear. I don't know. I don't have the testing tools to be able to look at that thing with a laser. So I have to kind of just assume that that is correct, but it's interesting. They have that bash amplifier, so I don't know about amplifiers as far as like the topology and like how all that works, but they say it's like a class AB with the efficiency of class D. I don't know.
Sure.
But what I do know about is DSP, and I was surprised to see it had 8 PEQ filters in there. I'm like, oh, that's more than what I'm used to seeing. On the
app?
FPS, you get 3. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, 8 is pretty good. Like you can do something with 8.
Yeah, for a sub, that's really good.
And the crazy thing is, like, each one has that, and they have this whole, like, in the one that I reviewed, they have built-in wireless functionality, so you can get their transmitter wirelessly transmit to all of them.
Yeah.
And so you could do some pretty advanced stuff, like multi-sub optimizer, where each subwoofer has its own delay, its own PEQ settings, and combined they create this virtual sub that sounds good at every seat without the use of a mini DSP.
That's pretty cool.
So, not that the mini DSP is a ton of money, but it's kind of cool that it can be done on the subwoofers themselves. I'm like, man, I wish more companies would do that. I wish more subwoofer companies would kind of unlock it, because I think the DSP and a lot of this stuff is capable.
Yeah.
But you got to make an app for it, and you got to unlock the capability. I like it. I thought that was super cool, because I would love to have Magic Beans as be able to export to these, or somebody would do something on the app, export directly to the sub, and boom, you're set. Anyway.
Yeah, let's get through some of these starred.
Yeah, sure.
Any tips on setting up DefTech DM70, Marantz Cinema 40, large or small setting with 2? So, yeah.
So
I got it up on screen.
Do they have subs?
Yes, they do. This says with built-in 10-inch powered sub. Is it on screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
$2,000 each. Gooey. Right. But hey, if it has a subwoofer,
maybe.
So I think a lot of people have issues with how to set these up properly. I believe there should be an LFE input on the back here, right? Oh, there's the back panel.
That's it. Okay. All right.
Right. So
I know what a lot of people would want to do. I think a lot of people would want to do that double bass, the sub.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, I got 4 subs. I don't think it would work like that unless you have something like Dirac Live bass control, where you could actually use the bass from your floor standing speakers and your subs, and they wouldn't interfere with each other in a weird way. That might be cool. But for the most part, maybe one thing you might want to do is check to see if there are any dips in the frequency response with the subwoofers in these towers.
Yeah.
Right? See where there are issues, and then look at your Monolith M15s and see where it has issues. See which one has less issues. First of all, you use those. So,
but
and
here's
then
the thing:
figure out how to kind of use the best of both worlds, right? So, if there's a dip somewhere in the response of your subwoofers, but there's no dip in the bass coming from these towers, maybe try to cross it over in a way where there's no dip at all for any.
But here's the issue: there's no LFE input on this. So would he set it to small or large? I think you would have to just set it to large, and then.
Well, I'm saying that you can still set the crossover down to 40 hertz in a Marantz.
Yeah, you can.
So it's a difference between setting it to between 40 or 80. That might make a big difference. 40, 60, 80. So yeah, you're gonna have to determine where to cross it over. But one thing I'm pretty sure about is that the Monolith M15s would smoke the subs in that. I haven't heard it, but I'm just guessing that it's gonna annihilate those subs.
I just like the Dragon, these definitive technology, people like them because the subwoofer is built in. You don't have to buy an extra sub. You don't have to take up that floor space. These could be in tight rooms, that kind of thing. But yeah.
But do you think that those would compete with the bass on those Monolith?
No, probably not.
No, I don't think so.
Honestly, like if you have those monoliths, man, like I don't know, get rid of the DefTechs and go with some bookshelves. But that's me.
Room, huh?
Yeah. You don't need those subs if you got those things.
Okay, here's a question that was actually from our Discord group, our spatial audio calibration Discord group. Somebody asked, how high should your subs play? Like, what frequency should your subs be able to play?
20,000, or it goes, or it gets
all 20,000.
Okay. So I know what my answer is. What's your answer?
It depends.
It depends.
How high should it be able to play?
Let's say
maybe
200
like
hertz.
200 hertz.
Yeah, 200. If it can play up to 200 hertz reasonably well, then that's probably. But I mean, because there's so many different systems that people can set up. You might want to cross it to 80. You might want to cross it at 120. It just depends on the rest of the speakers in the room and all that stuff.
Well, LFP is always 120 for the most part, like as a standard. So even if the bass management crosses over 80, that sub can play up to 120.
Okay.
Just based on like the signal that's being sent to it. So my answer was a safe bet is just double, like an octave higher.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's 120, if I double that, around 250-ish, I think is a safe bet. Yeah. And what I would look for is just a sub that doesn't have like breakup. What you're gonna listen for is like a breakup in the cone or resonance in the enclosure itself. Like if you hear any ringing type of rattling sounds at those higher frequencies, that's not good. And the reason why to me it's important to go up that high, even though you're cutting off at 120, is it's not a brick wall. So some of those sounds you don't want it to come in, like you don't want it to leak through.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's all. So
that's a good number. I mean, because the higher the better, right? I mean, that way you're not handicapped by the limitation of the speaker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but to me, around 250 is a safe, very safe number.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. Anyway, what other starred ones do we have?
Hold on. Jeremy chimed in. The LFE channel is 120 hertz by design, but mixers rarely put any primary content above 80 hertz there.
Okay.
So now, after I did my Dolby Atmos thingamajig, like a couple of people asked me how I deal with the LFE. You know what I do? I put as much bass in that motherfucker as possible. That's
why not, right?
That's tough.
I mean,
I don't understand. Like the mixers have this 2-channel mindset, right? And then when they get to like Atmos, and I've watched some of these guys ranting about how bad Atmos is and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like laugh at them because they've never, but they're like, but I've never experienced Atmos at all. So okay. Anyway, as a consumer, I want to make sure all these speakers I paid for are doing something. If I have 2 big ass subwoofers, I got this new sub upstairs.
I wonder which one.
It's the pretty boy sub.
Okay.
The pretty boy sub. I want to see that thing work, bro. Why is it just a right? I want sound coming out from all around me. That's why I bought into this Atmos thing.
Yeah.
But if you listen to these people that are like mixing, like moving stereo songs to Atmos, they're like, well, the drums can't just come from above. They're all like these old farts that are just like, they have no, like, it seems to me the imagination part of it is gone. Like when I'm thinking about making something, and there's somebody asking me in the Discord, it's over here. It's like, did you mix this yourself? And I noticed for the first time my Atmos speakers really need to be towed in listening to your Atmos tracks. Can you like show me what's happening? Because I just put the music video on there. And it's basically like if I were to close my eyes and think about where I place the sound, I want to be in the center of the sound. That's kind of like how I envision the music when I'm mixing Atmos. And I just don't think some of these guys like really like get it. You gotta think in 3 dimensions now. And of course, they always say like, "Oh, I can get 3-dimensionality out of a 2-channel system," and you can, for sure. But now when we're adding 9 other speakers, they gotta get out of this notion of like, oh well, the drums can't be anywhere but right here, right? The vocal can't be anywhere than dead center, right? They need to break out of these like. For us, I think for us to get actually like some really good Atmos mixes, there are some out there music wise. I'm not talking about movies. I'm talking about specifically music. When you're taking 2-channel and making it Atmos, like you have to have this innate like creativity to be like, oh, I can make this shit go like over here.
But to be fair, you also mix digital music. Like if you're to mix acoustic jazz, it'd be kind of weird to like place stuff in certain places, right?
Yeah. That's the other thing. I definitely think electronic music is hands down made for Atmos.
Yeah.
Like I heard the Atmos that they did with like the Beatles album Revolver. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go. That was like, please, let's not. Revolver is fantastic album. Let's not ruin it by trying to make it Atmos because you guys want like more plays on Tidal or whatever. So there's that. And a lot of people, Jeremy, don't really know what to do with the LFE channel. I've watched a whole bunch of videos. I read a bunch of people talking, a lot of posts. They would rather not put anything in the LFE channel altogether and just have your AVR deal with whatever bass frequencies. They'll just route it to the subwoofer. So sometimes, unless it's in a movie, they're not doing anything with it. There we go.
So real quick, Reverend Slim just saying the wattage on the Shield Pro is 40 watts, so you could probably run that.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see here. BB Photo says the best absolute soundstage and imaging I've heard were from the 35-year-old Paul Acoustics PA two-way passive monitor loudspeaker. Was it
Powell? I don't know. Haven't heard it.
I haven't heard that one either.
Each compared with a separate 10-inch sealed subwoofer. Okay. Let's see. Parker says, Aaron, have you gotten into home theater yet with your new AVR?
Nope, not yet.
Oh.
Haven't gotten anywhere yet. I am I don't know when I'll do that actually. So
okay.
Yeah. Not yet.
Let's see here. Jamie Hill says, I prefer wide dispersion like Aaron, but I have a small room and have found that 80 to 100 degrees works better for my room acoustics. All right. What else we got here? Aaron, I really wonder what measurements you'd get from the JTR 110 HT. They're coaxial and supposedly physically aligned.
I'd be willing.
It's like I don't know.
I'd be willing to test them. Maybe. I don't know.
Are those the
Actually, hold
HT? Are those they're 10-inch high channels?
Oh, maybe.
That's the Noesis 110 HT. Is that what it is? 110 HT? Yeah. I could test that one. I was just thinking, if this is another one of his big old bad boys, I'm not picking another one of those up. I'm not picking anything up heavy for a long time.
Oh no, it's a two-way audiophile loudspeaker.
Oh, hold on.
10-inch mid-range coaxial fitted with a 1-inch compressor.
32 pounds. Okay, that's not terrible.
Okay. Jamie Hill says, have you noticed speakers with waveguides and coaxial speakers have a deeper soundstage?
I feel like I have with coaxials, but I don't know if that's just sided bias, you know? I've run into that where I'm like, I don't because I know what it is, right? So
deeper soundstage. So depth. What was it? What's the car audio term? Depth of stage. Well, so there's in car audio, there's two different things. There's depth of stage, and then there's depth to stage. So depth of stage would be like, how deep is the sound stage, or how deep does the sound stage sound, right? So it may be 2 feet deep or something like that. But then depth to sound stage is how far away are you from the front of the sound stage, right? So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, if a waveguide is done well, the whole purpose is to control the directivity, and so I would kind of assume that, you know, better.
Yeah.
Would you say that better or smoother directivity off axis leads to better soundstage, generally speaking? No,
I don't think so. For me, I think in the case of the coaxial, I fall into that. Like I'm a sucker for the marketing, where like everything is in the same spot and the voices are all aligned and all that stuff. So right, like that's what I'm saying. It's cited. I know I'm listening to it, so okay. I feel like with the Kefs, I generally feel like the soundstage is deeper. Genelex, I feel like the soundstage is deeper. But the thing that I kind of notice about a lot of coaxials is that the soundstage, like I don't know if you guys have ever run into this, but a lot of sound stages they're square or rectangular, right? So they go a certain distance, like wide, and then they go a certain distance deep, and then it's like if you were bird's eye view and you see a rectangle,
rectangular.
That's how I feel like sound stages look.
So odd.
Is it odd? Uh-oh.
Is it odd that it looks like a Dolby Atmos renderer? I don't know.
Oh, interesting. But with coaxials, I feel like it's more like an oval shape.
Oval.
Where it's not like super sharp fall offs at the end. It's kind of like there's some ambiguity there. So, but the weirdest one I've ever listened to so far, at least, are those Linkwits. The kit, the Pluto, I think is what. No, it's not the Pluto. It's LX.
Is the one that fires up and then forward, or is it the one with like the weird shaped baffle?
It's the one with the tube. The woofer's firing up, and it's got the 4-inch.
That's like in a PVC pipe.
Yeah, that thing is wild, dude. Because it's like wherever I went, like at least front and back, not side to side, but front and back. I was walking into the soundstage. Like if I walk between the speakers, the soundstage, like it didn't stay at the speakers as I got in between them. It was just like physically in the middle. So it's because I think it radiated like a more broad radiation pattern, right? So the back was emitting. The idea is that they're supposed to be omnidirectional. They're not quite omnidirectional, but that's why I think. But it was wild, dude, because I got up to do something and I walked between them to like move a cable or do something. And I was like, holy crap. Like I was like looking around. I was like, I'm in the middle of the soundstage.
Yeah.
Wild.
That's crazy. Yeah. I found that coaxial, to add to what you're saying, coaxial typically it's harder to break the imaging.
Yeah. That's
you know, you move side to side and it's still like, it shifts a little bit.
A little bit, but yeah.
With some other speakers, you can kind of like, not working.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I noticed that.
I've noticed that with narrow directivity speakers, like the JBL 4329Ps that I was listening to, I was just jamming out, and I noticed like as I was moving my head, it was like the stuff was like dropping off, right? Like in the soundstage, like the vocalist like wasn't centered anymore, and it would just drop off, and it was very, I don't know how to describe it. Basically the same thing you're saying.
Yeah, I actually have a question for you in the after show, but it's a little very technical. Okay, Master Juan says, Joe and Tell, I recently read, can't remember where, that the 2025 Denon and Marantz are switching to Class H amplifiers from mid tiers and Class D for top tiers. Guess we'll have to wait and see. I mean, that makes sense to me. You know,
Class they can't cram anything else in that 17-inch wide like chassis, right?
Yeah. Well, I assume that it would be take less power, which people like. So more
and then people won't complain about it being overheating. Oh, it's overheating.
It runs cooler. A lot of times with electronics, stuff that runs hot tends to break more often. You know, so that's a good thing for them. And probably going to be lighter, so save on shipping. So it's kind of like it's the best.
It has like a whole bunch of worlds that it's going to.
Yeah, you can add more power. It's just better overall. So I can't see why they wouldn't. I think their new amps are Class D, right? Anyway, what else we got here? Bodie says, "How did you end up in Mammoth?" Oh, that's for an after show talk.
Oh yeah. Oh, Bodie's an after show. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk to you.
It's short. Long story short, we came up here for 2 weeks and then stayed. That's it.
Joker says, "Question: should you decouple subwoofers or leave them on the floor? I have a 24 with no feet and want to put some isolation pad under, so it's not directly on the floor."
I do decouple. Yeah.
I think a lot of people have said like, "Hey, I notice a difference."
Yeah,
when they decouple.
I would think it would also matter too, like on what kind of floor it is. Like if it's the first floor on a slab versus a set, like I would think
second floor on wood or something, or like plywood. Yeah. I always have been doing it, and I've been buying this company called Auralux because I actually did it for my guitar amplifiers was when I was recording it, and they actually have. Joe, you'd like this. This is from years ago too. They have like recordings of some guitar passes with the guitar cabinet on the floor versus the what do you call it? The little pad thing. And you can see in the recording that you have a tighter bass area. Like the lower section is just cleaner.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty cool. I was like, oh, wow, they actually.
Yeah, I mean, I know SVS makes some isolation sound path isolation something.
Yeah, they're like little feats.
Reverend Slim said that he was shocked that it made a big difference. He's not somebody that I would think would buy something and say, oh my god, just because he bought it. He's not that type of guy. And so when he's like, actually, he told me he's like, I'm kind of surprised how much difference these make. Mm-hmm. Like he wasn't expecting to hear such a difference. Yep. He actually had to recalibrate and stuff. So yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah, try it out.
Yeah.
What else we got here? We got 2 more, and then we should probably take off. But where did that one go?
Shit.
It was by
Problem
Lad.
solved. Guess we're not
What
answering that
was
one.
the
though.
name?
I'll let you find that, but in the meantime, thank you for the super chat.
Bear of Lazarus.
How do I say this?
Ole.
Ole.
No? Ole.
Thank you for the super chat. Thoughts on car subwoofers in home theater? I really like that idea.
I mean, isn't that what the stereo integrity guys do? Isn't that
I mean,
essentially like a car subwoofer, or is it made for home theater? I don't even know.
Well, like, so the specs I think are really what kind of the specs and the materials just being weatherproof. But like from my experience, a lot of car audio subwoofers are designed to work in a small enclosure because space is such a premium, and you don't necessarily have to do that for home audio. So that would probably be like one of the differences, right? And maybe the sensitivity that goes along with that, the trade-off. But I mean, I've seen plenty of people do 12 W7s before JL started making home subwoofers. I mean, how many times have you guys seen a 12 W7 in an enclosure? Somebody, y'all haven't? I've seen it a lot. So
really,
yeah. And a 12 W6, I used to use a 12 W6 with an external amplifier in my home theater. So
how'd that work out?
Slim, I actually bought Slim subwoofers because I was going to install them in the wall of my old home theater, and I never got around to it. And then my wife one day was like, or my ex was like, I want a divorce, and so I just never finished that job.
Yeah. Well, I actually had a 10W6 JL Audio 10W6.
Yeah.
I just kind of took it out of the car, and I don't remember what was happening. I was switching cars or something like that. So I put it in my home system for a while. Dude, it sounded awesome.
Yeah, I mean, a good subwoofer is a good subwoofer. It just needs to be in the right enclosure and give the right power. And that's kind of it.
See, but like we didn't really have these back in the day. The closest thing was the Orion HCCA.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But nowadays, like almost all the car subs look kind of like this, like the Sundown one, like some crazy ones. Like, dude, you don't see surrounds like this.
Yeah, so those are for the SPL crowd, right? For the non-hardcore like SPL, there's still stuff like the W6, and plenty of other brands that you can go and buy. But yeah, I mean, those are nuts. Those are for like
ridiculous, though, doesn't it?
Those are for the dudes who are trying to hit 150, 160, 170 decibels, on a single 12 or something like that. Yeah. Just ridiculous numbers. I remember I walked past it was finals. It was World Finals car audio competitions, 2015 or 14. And I was walking through the SPL area where all the guys were trying to, get the loudest. And there was a dude who had a single 12-inch subwoofer, and it was the craziest box I've ever seen. And the ports were all external out of PVC pipe running outside of the box. And he hit like 155 or something decibels. It was just like, holy crap, dude. I mean, it was probably like at 30 or 40 something hertz, probably 40 something hertz, but still, that's ridiculous.
See, look, here's a W7.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing still looks similar. That thing still looks ridiculous.
Yeah. They haven't.
But you would really say that this that a W7 is both like an SQ and SPL subwoofer?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what their claim to fame for it is. Yeah.
And so are those like that one that I showed you, that Sundown one? It's just purely SPL. Like there's no way to do that to make it sound somewhat decent.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need that for just a regular stereo, right? Like you don't need all of that heat absorption and output capability.
Yeah,
like when people do say the subwoofer slow, I do think of those, like the way that looks. I'm like, that
it looks like it would be like it would be a turtle. Somebody, you'd have to get like a piston behind that thing.
Yeah, it just looks like. Just looks slow. Anyway, what else we got?
So this is the one I lost. Lazarus says, speaking of speakers in the room, do you guys believe in the theory of just getting the biggest and baddest subs you want, or getting subs based on the room size? I go with room size.
I mean, I don't guess there's any harm in going with the biggest and baddest, but I don't know that you have to.
I don't know half the people that have like these Ascendo 50-inch subwoofers really need something like that. Or even anything above a 20-inch, unless you've got like some basement that's got like 6,000 cubic feet or something like that. I don't know. I mean,
I hear you, man. I see some of these setups. They'll be running like 8 24 inches or 8 18s, and I'm just like, but your mains are regular old towers, right? Like it doesn't make
it doesn't match up, right? So like,
and it's not like they're distributing them in the room. They're all putting them in the same spot.
Same spot, so like right up front.
Have the same knolls and the same peaks. So those are the ones that I'm like, you probably should have thought about that before.
Yeah. Well, what is that song? Throw some dubs on it. So is that what they're doing in their home theater? Throw some dubs.
Oh my God. I was just listening to that song a couple weeks ago, and I like that song too.
I can't wait to hang out with
some D's on it. Yeah, that's right.
So, okay, because anyway, I would say based on room size.
Let's just say, for example, let's say you just wanted to hit reference. Let's say you're not going to go crazy. You're not going to try to blow out the windows. You're not trying to break your floor. You're not trying to break your drywall. You just want to hit reference level. You want it to sound good, right? And the question is like, should you get a normal size sub, right? Something you could buy on SVS's website or something like that, right? And some of those are pretty big already, or do you need to get like a ridiculous huge sub? Like, is there an advantage? I don't know. I would rather have multiple subs personally. And I think that one area that I don't think that there's a lot of research that I've seen is how the size of the driver affects the interaction with the room. Because if you think about it, like the source of the sound and its relationship to how close it is to a floor, a ceiling, sidewalls,
walls,
that affects the sound, right? Basically, to me, the way it seems like in my mind, I don't know how true it is, but the larger the subwoofer, the larger the surface area, the more possible interaction it can have with the floor. It's closer to the ceiling because it's going to be taller, going to be closer to sidewalls, and so I think it's going to actually interact with your room more than a smaller subwoofer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
just a theory. Just a theory.
Maybe. I mean, at least with, let's say if you're going like 115 versus 212s, now you've got like 24 inches surface area with the 212s as opposed to move air.
Not exactly 24. You can't double.
Well, yeah, it's not.
That's not perfect, but you get the idea.
Yeah, you got more surface area than the single 15, so
yeah,
that could be better. And then of course, like what Aaron was saying, like it was, you have multiple subwoofers, you can get rid of nulls, whereas one subwoofer in one spot is just going to do one thing,
Yeah.
And so you just have to find the right spot.
What I don't get is if you want your system to sound good, your bass has to be in line with your main speakers.
It's got to be balanced.
It's got to be balanced.
So, like I'm all about bass, but like it until like.
Yeah. So the question is, how loud are you listening to this system?
Yeah.
Are you guys really listening that loud where it sounds balanced, but you definitely need the size of that woofer? Like, dude, that's probably not good. It's probably not even.
If you need you need like 4 18s. When I was playing at the Village, they had 4 JBL dual 18 subwoofers on this 30,000 watt system, and the full line arrays above, like 2 big line arrays of like 7 feet tall. So it was a balanced sounding system, but like, do you have that along with your 4 18s? If not, like, what's going on? Like, yeah, I can, see, like Croson was saying, in Kansas City, I think reference is 130 dB minimum. Yeah, like that's a lot of firepower. You got all those subwoofers. Cool. Maybe just put them all right behind each chair, so you'll have some near field action and maybe a couple up front. I don't know.
To each his own, but as far as necessity, come on, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think 152 decibels. Like, dude, I actually need my hearing to make a living, so I would never play anything that loud. I barely even get up to like 80 dB upstairs.
Dude, I have that RSL 12S, that giant subwoofer, directly behind my seat, and I already feel like that's already ridiculous. It's already silly amount of bass. You know what I mean? With no bass shakers on, the thing's already shaking my seat. So I don't know how much more you want.
Yeah,
I guess it's crazy. Crazy if you want.
If you want something to tickle your butthole, go for it. But at the end of the day, like, however much money you want to spend and you want to get crazy on your bass, go for it. It's probably better to just have a balanced sound. So
that's right.
Yep. All right.
Well, let's do it. Let's hop into the after show.
Yeah, let's get into the after show. Make
Yes,
sure
sir.
to join the channel with https://bit.ly/Daily HiFi Crew. Damn, that was a lot.
You did well.
Reverend Slim's comment needs to be shown. There is he.
Yeah, I just did it.
You can get your butthole tickled with way cheaper subs. Yes, and then what did we have here? Banners. If you guys like the audio version only, go to anchor.fm/Daily HiFi for the audio version of the podcast. And of course, you know, we've got merch. Joe's wearing it. Shop.dailyhifi.com. Show your support. Show everybody you're part of the Daily HiFi Crew. Dude, I need one of those for audio advice, man. How long is this? Actually, I got to get some new clothes for that thing.
Yeah.
Got to look good. Got to look. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the after show. For those of you watching on the replay, make sure you subscribe to the channel, the Daily HiFi YouTube channel, and make sure you're here 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern for the live show. Ask us some questions, get in on the chat, and get in on the fun.
Yeah. And thanks for hanging out too.
Yes,
for sure. Yes. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.
Hey guys.
Next.